I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk, could you take the call? Roll call.
Member Poley?
Present.
Member Pillar?
Present.
Chairman Brennan?
Present. And Mr. Schuler is excused. Okay, emergency evacuation plan, as usual, back doors, either to the left or to the right, parking lot or the front lawn. Let's see. Has everybody had a chance to look at the meeting minutes from 10/29/25?
Yes.
Okay, any changes, any discussion, alterations?
No. No.
Okay. Can I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes?
Move to accept. Seconded.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Very good. Let's see. Okay. Let's see, public comment on docketed items. Do I need a vote to, you can't hear me? That better? Okay, sorry. I'm just as loud when I'm back here, you know? I need to have a vote to open public hearings, right? Okay, motion to open public comment on docketed items, docketed items only.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody have any comments on docketed items? Anybody in the room? Should be calling you two by name. Anybody on Zoom? Docketed items going once, twice, 3 times. Public comment on docketed items is closed. We have nothing in front of us for public hearing tonight, so we will go on to new business. Report on, I was requested by the town council to give them a verbal report. Originally, it was supposed to have been last night. However, we were not on the agenda, so therefore it is being moved up to, I believe, December 2nd. Okay. And that will take place at the normal town council meeting. Let's see. In addition to that, the written update that I'm submitting to the town on a monthly basis will be out by the 30th of this month. So item B, we have a GZA summary from the first public meeting. So if we can let the GZA folks in. Are they still there?
Mr. Brennan, we're on.
Okay, good. So you had you had a progress report that you had sent out as to what has been going on since the last public meeting on the 25th of September. Did you want to present that?
Yes, Sarah.
Clark.
Sarah, do you want to share it on your screen as well?
Sure.
Okay.
I think that makes the most sense. Let me just make sure that I have sharing capabilities. And can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. All right, so yes, a lot has been done since the September 25th public meeting. We, GZA and the RDA, conducted a boat tour of the pond to help identify access improvements and rule out potential locations for access. The team also toured the pond with GZA's ecologist to note general conditions. We've also established an FAQ section on the project website in response to public comments. And after I go through this update, I will share, I'll just walk through the website and where those changes are. We've also updated the redevelopment area boundary, including updated public ownership And this has been based on public input at the public meeting through the project website. And this is all on the project website as well. We removed
Sarah,
that. Yes.
If I may note, we added to that territory Stump Pond,
Correct.
right? And
Correct.
Maple Root Pond.
Correct. Yes. And it follows the watershed, again, based on public comment from the meeting. And again, I will share that after I go through the progress update. We removed Northrop Platte Road, which was previously identified as town-owned land. So that is no longer included as town-owned land in the boundary. We also prepared a full public outreach summary to date, which is what Member Brennan just noted. And so that summary includes everything from the first public meeting, all public comments received through the project website to date, and survey results from the civic associations to date. And so I believe once we have that adopted tonight, that will be ready to be uploaded to the project website. And from there, we've also created a vision statement for the redevelopment area boundary based on public input. All maps have also been updated and uploaded to the project website. We have a section in the events tab with all the RDA's information, meeting information. So that's including links, agendas, the YouTube channel, again, under the events tab. We've provided a list of information needed for the redevelopment plan to the town manager, who is distributing that information to relevant town departments. And we've received 2 letters of input to date, so still waiting on some of that, and that's going to help us with our assessment. We've identified with the RDA currently available areas owned by the town for public improvement and compiled a list of recreational opportunities based on public input. Again, that's from the website, from the surveys, as well as from the first public meeting. So I just want to note that where we're at in the process, we are still moving along on our end. We seem to have a finalized redevelopment area boundary, but unfortunately, adoption of the redevelopment plan is dependent on completion of the comprehensive plan update per the Rhode Island general law. And so we are working with the planning department and their consultants to get that language in the plan.
Sarah,
so I guess,
if I may
yes.
interject, apologies. I want to note the implications for full disclosure here. When we started this process, we had understood that there was a completed and current comprehensive plan. Apparently, there was an update left to the housing section of that plan. As Sarah noted, one of the key components under the redevelopment plan law, the state of Rhode Island, is that a current comprehensive plan that is adopted by town council be present in order to assess the plan's consistency with that plan. But for or without that comprehensive plan, we cannot take a redevelopment plan to town council for approval. So the bottom line of this is we don't expect this to delay necessarily the planning process for the public and get a plan out and together, but it will affect the timeline of the adoption of the redevelopment plan by town council.
Correct. And thank you for that clarification. Yes, there's very specific language in Rhode Island general law about what the comprehensive plan must include in order for the redevelopment plan to move forward. So thank you for clarifying that. In our next steps, which we are actively involved in, we are setting up a meeting with Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management, as well as the Pawtuxet River Authority. They had reached out to us and asked to be part of the process. So we will be initiating those meetings in the near future. We will be providing language to the planning department to include in the comprehensive plan update in accordance with what's required per the general law, in order to get that adopted. And so then we can finally, move forward on, as Kevin had mentioned, the final adoption in the future. We're going to prepare preliminary concept ideas and near-term improvement programs for the town-owned parcels that are identified. And I believe Member Brennan is going to speak to that after this. And with each of those concepts and sites, we're going to highlight the constraints and issues We are also preparing for our next public outreach meeting to discuss these preliminary concepts and improvements. And in this, we will discuss the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for each improvement. That will be discussed again with the community. We are working through with the RDA what that format will look like. We're also going to map alternative locations for improvement based on public input to date. So that's aside from the town-owned parcels that we're going to discuss further tonight. We're also going to prepare a checklist of requirements for long-term access and recreational sites. So criteria which has not yet been established, but can mean something like a certain size. A parcel must be a certain size in order to be considered for long-term access or must have direct access to the pond. And then we're going to prepare volume 1 of the redevelopment plan with short-term access and recreational improvements. So we have a lot that we've done and a lot to do, but we're making excellent progress. And with that, I will just share the website with you all. Bear with me. So just want to quickly walk through the project website and where you can locate the FAQs. So that is at the top of the section. You can go to that. And again, this encompasses all of the questions that have been asked that we have answers to at this moment in time. It's a very comprehensive list, again, from the public meeting, from what we've received to date. And this will be continuously updated as we receive more comments. So again, the public input section, please get in touch with us, share your ideas. We are constantly monitoring that, sending updates to the RDA. We are watching, for more comments to come through. As I had mentioned, we updated the events tab, which has all the meeting information, links to all of the meetings that have occurred to date, as well as the Redevelopment Agency's YouTube channel. Again, we have the workshop presentation and the meeting here, so that's accessible. We've updated the maps page again. This mapper will now show the revised redevelopment area boundary. And as you can see, I will turn off the parcels just so it's a bit easier to read. This area is now much larger. This follows the watershed boundary as we had discussed at the public meeting. We've included some more of the town and state-owned parcels based on this boundary. And so we've also provided a narrative as to why this has happened. And again, this is in coordination with everyone at the public meeting, as well as website comments that we've received to date. The maps that we had presented at the public meeting are all here. And yes, if there is additional feedback on the boundary, please submit through the public input section.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. As you can see, there's been a fair amount of things happening in the background. One of the things that GZA has provided us is a summary from the first public meeting. I believe you both have received a copy of this. It's that very extensive 410-page document that, yes, I have read. What we want to do is we want to post this onto the website. So I would like a motion to post this.
Motion. Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. So this will get posted up onto the website. What section is going to be under, Sarah?
I think that we can post this under with events where it has our public workshop. Right now, again, that's where the public workshop presentation is, the meeting recording is. So I think that is that makes the most sense. And it will be downloadable as well.
Okay, great. And it is, before you download it, it is 410 pages long. You might want to consider reading it online. Okay, next topic is discussion regarding currently available sites. Okay, we've gone through all of the information that came back. We've eliminated the section on Northup Road already. What we're concentrating on here is properties that the town currently owns. So we're not looking at any kind of acquisition, anything along those lines. So they break down into 4 major areas. One is the property behind Public Works. This includes the location between the bike path and the pond, basically from the spillway up into where if you're familiar with that area, there's a set of stairs that go down to the pond right near where the library bike path access is. So it's kind of that area there. It's a wooded area. There's already a small picnic table set up, but that is one area. The other is the dam embankment abutting Reservoir Road. Okay, we do have access to the dam itself as a property that we can look at. Between the 2 dam embankments, there is an island. Okay, that's also something that we can be considering. And the dam access road that crosses the dam. And these are areas that we can take a look at. The second area is the Francis H. Sherman Park. This is already a town park. Parks and Recreation, I believe, maintains it. It's a bit overgrown at this point in time. I understand that there may be some issues with glass dumping at the end. This is from comments that we had received. But it is a property that looks as though it would be suitable for a handboat type launch, canoes, kayaks, paddle boards, that sort of thing. But, it's an area that we can look at. There is another area that abuts off of Vine Street. This is a very small area, very congested area as far as road access goes. And the water access, when you see it from the water side, there's not a lot there. It's shallow, it's muddy. I think we can discuss that. And then there's the DEM boat ramp at Zeke's Bridge. The Vine Street area, I don't know that we can really do anything meaningful there. I'm willing to entertain discussion on that. This is not me telling you guys what to do, but does anybody have any comments concerning that? Okay.
No.
Okay, then I would like to remove that area from consideration, and I would like to take a vote on that as well. So if I could have a motion.
Motion to remove.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We can remove that from the map as well. The last area is the DEM boat ramp at Zeke's Bridge. One of the obvious difficulties there is that the town does not own that's state property. Whether or not something can be done with that in the future, that's to be determined. We're not ruling anything out. It is a possible site. It does have limitations in that it doesn't have access to the larger section of the pond. I would like to consider placing that kind of on hold. It's something that still is a possibility, but not something that we're going to necessarily actively be working on. I would also like any input and discussion from the agency members on that.
I agree.
Agree.
Okay, so we will take a vote on that as well. Can I have a motion?
Move to put Zeke's Bridge ramp on hold.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that gives us 2 areas that we can start digging into a little bit deeper and see what we can work out on there. Moving on to item D. Now, this is what I'd like to do with this. This is a list. This has a list of things that people have suggested as far as what type of access to have. As far as public access goes, sorry.
Mhm.
Okay. Some of this is, okay, I think I'm getting some feed. Oh.
I'm sorry.
Unmute. There. Okay. Um, some of these are required, okay, based on the ordinance and the resolution that gave this project to us. For example, boat ramp, parking facilities and the like for public or recreation use. These are things that we have to work on in some way, shape, or form. So those need to be included. Other things, both from just basically from the public output input that we've received, a beach picnic area would be desired. The boat ramp, a marina with fuel dock and restaurant, canoe, kayak, paddleboard access, fishing pier, bike trail extension across the dam. Other areas that would come up would be a viewing area with a gazebo, a walking path, hiking trail in the vicinity. What I'd like to do is, and this is a suggestion that Chris Schiller has made numerous times, is that I'd like to try to break these down into categories. You know, what can we do soonest with minimum expense and get the maximum result out of? What is something that's going to take a little bit longer? And what is something that we want to put into a plan, but would be a future development that may be outside of what we actually have to work with now? Some of these things will evolve depending on what's required to put it in. I know if anything that goes into the water, DEM has to be involved in that. I would be very surprised if any of the things that we do don't require a wetland survey, you know, for any kind of construction on it. You know, so we need to do things like that. Some of the stuff may already be done. I don't know if the town has a recent wetland survey for those areas. If they do, we can probably use that. If not, we'd have to commission that and get that done. But we want to hear from DEM and what their requirements are, you know, before we cast anything in stone. So with that being said, what my suggestion would be for the easier things to do would be a canoe, kayak, paddleboard access. Okay, which should not require a major amount of infrastructure. Probably would require some cleanup in areas. Depends on where it's decided to put it. You need reasonable access to it, you know, for a car to get close enough to have it feasible to carry the boat down to the launching area. So I would put that in group one. We more or less have to put the boat ramp into group one because that is one of our requirements. I'm not too worried about the parking facilities and aspects of that because that would go along with it. Comments on those additions?
Well, I think the most restricting thing is the parking.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you do, there has to be a space there to park some cars.
Mhm.
And when we look at a boat ramp, we gotta look at a place where you can put the cars and the trailers, and the same thing with the paddle boards and so forth. I think that the Francis Sherman Park is a place where we could probably do something with canoes and kayaks and so forth. But I don't think you get a boat ramp in there. So the boat ramp is really pretty much restricted to that one spot. I'm sorry, I did not put my speaker on.
Oh,
I'm getting used to that. Anyway, I think that the only place that you could probably put a boat ramp is is in the major area by the dam. I don't know any other place. If anybody knows another place, bring it up.
Well, one of the things that we're not going to exclude this, that Senator Reptakis discussed with me this morning, is the possibility of coming to some type of an agreement with one of the campgrounds to see if perhaps we could lease areas, do some sort of, tax break type issue to allow use of facilities that are there. I remember having a discussion about this, and I want to say it was back in June, but I don't remember. But at the time, it was felt that there wasn't any interest on the campground owner's side. I'm not eliminating that as a possibility. I had the minutes were already posted, so I could not include that in the written part of the meeting minutes. But that certainly is something that is worth exploring. I don't want to rule out any possibilities that we have.
If I can make a comment on that, at the public meeting, the number one concern of everyone, of all the concerns, was traffic, water traffic on the pond. And if you take a look at the legislation that was passed for Lake Tioga and the rules that Lake Tioga operates under, if we could have similar kinds of rules at Johnson's Pond, I think it would solve a lot of that problem. What we have now is kind of an open badlands, and it doesn't have any real. I mean, there are state laws, but doesn't have any local laws. And I think if Johnson's Pond would like to adopt those kinds of rules, I think it would go a long way to and if that happened, it would certainly put some controls on what's happening at the at the campsites.
I don't disagree with you on that. I looked through the town ordinances. Tioga Lake has quite a few ordinances pertaining to horsepower size, speed limits, and various things along those lines. Johnson Pond has none of those. I suspect that that's probably because the town historically leased that property, so it didn't own it, so wasn't able to impose things. So we fall back on the state and would have to look at that. The other aspect of that is, how do you limit new access or public access in terms of like horsepower when, I mean, the first boat that I saw when we took our water trip was 115 horsepower. Okay, and that's not the biggest on the pond. So, how can I propose limiting other access to a 9.9 horsepower motor? I'd want a lot more information on it before we started getting into that kind of a detail as far as regulating things on the pond.
Yeah,
Get a lot
Mr.
more.
Brennan,
Yes.
that is part of the lake. There's a series of regulations in your ordinance on personal watercraft and related to the power and application for permit age limits. So I would certainly think that would be a part, permitting process, craft design, which of course would be limited not only for safety and speed on the lake, congestion, but also the functional access of the boat ramp as well. So all those parameters have to be considered for a well-crafted, into a well-crafted ordinance. And I think that will be a part of the kind of detailed technical background beyond just the site planning. This has to come with that second dimension. So definitely something that we have to consider, and particularly in light of enhanced access and a limited number of permits as well. available annually, given the concerns related to congestion, is something that needs to be considered as well. So, totally agree.
There's a lot of things behind the scenes that really need to be worked out. It's not, none of this is simple. It's a very complicated process to get that in. Anyway, we got a little bit off on that. So, so for first level, we're talking boat ramp and canoe kayak paddleboard access. I would say you could probably add in, yeah, the viewing area gazebo. Um, feelings on secondary access? Or not secondary access, but middle grade development or improvements.
I would imagine the bike trail extension, beach, picnic area, viewing area, you know. Beach and bike trail. Picnic area.
George,
What's that?
yeah, you agree?
I'm sorry,
This-
didn't quite get what you said.
Okay, this is, we have recommendations
You
for,
mentioned secondary access, what is that?
yeah, it's not secondary access. It's
Group
it's
two.
the
Second phase.
second phase development,
Second phase, okay.
right? So that would be, Vince's suggestion is beach picnic area and bike trail extension.
I can agree to that.
Okay. And for the third,
That fishing pier, I guess what's remaining there, right? The fishing pier and the marina.
yep,
Oh, the fishing pier, can we throw that in group two? I mean, I don't know how extensive
we can.
we can get with that fishing
Like I
pier.
said, this
but
is just a first approximation.
yeah, throw
know.
the fishing pier in group two, and then the other ones
I think a fishing pier could go in group two,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. And then that leaves the marina, fuel dock, and restaurant as future development. Walking path, hiking trail. I mean, this property abuts the bike trail, so I'm not sure that there's anything else we need to do with that.
That would be in that group two stuff, you know, that bike trail, walking trail, all that extension stuff, I would imagine.
Or we could actually include that in group one,
One, put it in one.
I mean, might just be a matter of
Yeah, clearing
minor
stuff with
trimming.
the DPW. I mean, you can get walking trails. You don't necessarily need it paved. You know,
yeah, I
walking
mean,
trails are nice,
there
hiking
are
trails.
side trails in that area
Right.
anyway that would connect up.
But
So
just cleaning up some brush and whatnot. You know,
How
put
about
that
the one
in group
about
one.
extending the bike
That-
path across the dam?
that then suggested that in group two.
Mm-hmm, that too, okay.
Speaking, you know,
Mhm.
at least with those ones in group one, you know, that I think that for relatively low cost, other than the boat ramp, you know, we get the most access
Mm-hmm.
or the most impactful things for the community.
And that is a major consideration. Ideally, we want to do this with resources that are available to us now, with funds that are available to us now.
No, right?
See how far we can get in-house before we start having to go out and hire contractors for things. Some of the stuff we definitely will have to. I can't see us getting a bunch of volunteers down a cement mixer and putting in a boat ramp. I just don't think that would work. You've also got things associated with that, washout stations, things along those lines. There's a lot to consider with there. We got to keep that in group one simply because
It's a requirement.
it's a requirement. Parking and facilities go along with that, could be included in the plans, but that is our priorities anyway going in. So I think we've got our major groups set up.
Mhm.
Okay. And I'll compile that into a list and send it out to the agency members, and
Good.
we'll go on from there. Anybody else have any discussion on that?
No, not really.
All right, in that case, if there's no further discussion, we have no business matters carried over, no resolutions to vote on. Items listed for informational purposes only or none. We are not having an executive or closed section, so I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Oh.